There's 5 different scams that are going around right now that I want to talk about. One of them is an old scam that's kind of come back. There's another one that I call the Freelancer scam that's particularly aimed towards artists. There's the I'm moving, there's the you're moving, and there's what I call the contest scam, the Freelancer scam. This one hits me personally because I'm a photographer and I'm a freelancer. And these are aimed towards guys like me. You receive a text or a call from someone and they're really complimentary about your work. They don't say a lot about it, but they just go in right away about how they want to hire you. Sight unseen. The first time I heard of this happening, it was with a friend of mine who was modeling. It's also happened to me several times in the past. My friend who was modeling told me that there was a stranger who just wanted to hire her to wear their entire wardrobe for a shoot that they were doing, and they were going to pay her $4,000 for a 3-day shoot. Could she do it? They had found her on one of those modeling sites where you can post your images and people can find you to hire you for gigs. And so, of course, she was like, yeah, I would love to do that. They told her that they were going to send her the paperwork and that she should return it to them. And they were also going to send her a check for the entire shoot, meaning not just her fee, but the fee to pay for the studio and the fee to pay for someone called a studio manager. She could wait for the check to clear, and then after the check cleared, she was supposed to pay this studio manager. The studio manager? Yeah, you're supposed to pay them with a cashier's check. What's the scam here? Well, the scam is that you have to wait for the check to clear, and your bank tells you that, hey, you're free to use the funds right now a couple days later, only the check hasn't actually cleared. A check takes like up to a week in order to actually clear, but the bank will tell you that you can go ahead and use the funds before that. So you'll go ahead and you'll write out a cashier's check and FedEx it to the studio manager like you're supposed to, only the check hasn't actually cleared and it will never clear and you'll never see that money again and you'll never hear from that agent again and you've been screwed. This one I call the modeling scam revisited. It isn't new, and in fact, modeling scams keep on resurrecting in various forms every few years. But first, we need to explain what agencies are and why modeling scams exist. An agent or manager is the person who gets you work into acting and modeling. They represent you in negotiations, and when you're hired, they get a percentage of what you make. An acting agent sends you out on auditions, and you meet with the casting director. What's a casting director? They're the people who help a director find the folks who are right for a film or commercial. Now keep in mind, an agent is someone who gets a percentage of your pay whenever they find you a job or whenever they send you to an audition that gets you the job. In the world of modeling, agencies are businesses that have models for photography or film. When a photographer wants a model, they take a look at the photos that are available and they go through and they find a model that they like and they say, this is the person that I want to hire. And maybe they meet with them ahead of time just so that they can get a feel and see if they're the right person for the job. But if they choose to hire the model, the agency gets a cut of whatever the photographer paid. Now here's where the business gets complicated. A model needs photos to send around to the photographers, or in more modern terms, to put online. Newer models need to hire photographers in order to get photos, or they can explore TFP. What is TFP? Trade for print. Trading for photos means that the model poses for the photographer. Maybe the photographer wants to expand their portfolio, or maybe they're bored and they just want to work with the model. Trade for print means that the model poses and in exchange they get photos. When I was in college, I started visiting all the modeling agencies because I wanted to go ahead and start working with them. And I started going to all the acting agencies as well. But I kept on getting the same answer. Whenever I called acting agencies, they said, we're already working with a photographer. It took me a while to figure out what that meant. Normally, an agency would recommend a number of photographers to work with. But keep in mind, an agent is someone who gets a percentage every time they get someone work. So go figure, modeling agencies and acting agents had no problem recommending photographers, referring photographers who they would get a cut from or a kickback from. It was a very closed loop. But it gets worse. Modeling agencies would hold these open calls where they would pretty much see and accept everybody into their agency. And they would say, yeah, you're going to be represented by us. All you have to do is just pay this fee. Oh, and you'll have to take some classes in order to learn how to model. And there's a class that we're going to teach. You can sign up for it. It's just a few $100. The modeling agency would also have a photographer on staff, so they can take your photos. They'll just put you through a quick photo shoot, and your photos can get online right away. And these were always very expensive packages that they were trying to get you to buy. How do I know this? Well, I once responded to an ad that was looking for photographers for a modeling agency. The woman that I met with barely looked at my images. She was much more interested in how many different poses could I take of a model, and could I get them done in like 15 to 30 minutes so I could go on and grab more models. She suggested that if I could shoot someone in 15 to 30 minutes and get a couple like half decent pictures of them, I could make up to $800 a day. What were they charging the models? $600 per model. And she wanted me to shoot like 10 to 15 models in a day, and I would make up to $800 from that. That is, of course, a scam. And she was counting on me to go along with the scam because I would also be making money, but I would be taking really crappy photos of a bunch of models. But you say, what does that have to do with me? Well, there are acting agencies who do the same things with actors. Some agencies are aimed towards casting kids in both print and commercials, or at least they say that they are, and it costs a lot of money up front in order to join them. Remember, a legitimate agent only makes money when you get cast. In California, they actually started passing laws about what agencies could do, because a lot of agencies were going ahead and offering acting classes or classes on how you could get cast, or just stuff that they shouldn't be charging you more money for up front. It kind of muddies the water if the person who's supposed to be getting you the job is also offering you a class, and it's going to increase your chances of getting cast if you take my class and pay me $1,200. There are 3 takeaways in this scam. Don't pay anyone money up front to get cast in anything. 2, an agent gets paid when you get cast. You don't pay them. 3, don't choose a photographer that your agent or modeling agent is pushing heavily. That's just them getting a kickback. Honest. Remember, an agent is someone who gets money every time they get someone hired. So if they're pushing hard to get someone hired, it's because they're making money off of it. I hope this video is going to avoid a few people getting scammed. Go watch my other videos. They're not scams. In fact, you can just watch them and stop watching them if you don't like them. Don't stop watching my videos. Never stop watching. My name is John Abbott. Thanks.